An emergency meeting was called that night. Nobody knew it would change everything. Then the landlord asked a question. Who wants Mr. Johnson out of this compound? Almost every hand went up. Even the children raised theirs. Everyone hated Mr. Johnson.
The first complaint came from a young mother. She said Mr. Johnson reported her because her baby cried every night. To her, he was heartless. The crowd agreed. Then, a student stood up. He said Mr. Johnson embarrassed him in front of his friends. He never forgave him for it. Then, the mechanic spoke. He claimed Mr. Johnson was the reason the police showed up at his workshop. To him, Mr. Johnson had ruined his day. Then, the children shared their story. They said he was always taking their football. They were convinced he simply enjoyed making them unhappy. Nobody defended him. Not a single person. Finally, the landlord made a decision. Mr. Johnson would be asked to leave.
The meeting was over. But that was when something strange happened. Later that night, the landlord decided to deliver the notice himself. He walked to Mr. Johnson's door, but nobody answered. That was unusual. Soon, a few neighbors joined him. Then, something surprised everyone. The door was unlocked. The room was empty. Too empty. Then, they noticed something on the table. A stack of notebooks. And a hospital file. The landlord opened the first notebook. And that's when everything began to change.
What he saw didn't make sense. The first page had the young mother's name. Beside it was a record of rent payments. Anonymous payments she never knew about. Then they turned the page. The next name belonged to the student. Someone had secretly helped pay his tuition, and the notebook wasn't finished. Then the landlord reached the mechanic's name. Years earlier, his daughter needed urgent treatment. The notebook revealed who paid the hospital bill. Then they discovered why he always took the children's football. He had been repairing them before returning them. Finally, only the hospital file remained. What the landlord read made the room completely silent. Mr. Johnson had been battling terminal cancer. The man they hated had been fighting for his life the entire time. They rushed to the hospital. They finally arrived, but they were too late. Mr. Johnson was gone, but he left something behind. A letter addressed to the entire compound. The landlord opened it and began to read. If you're hearing this, then my time has come. I never wanted thanks. I only wanted to leave the world a little better than I found it. For a long moment, nobody spoke. The next morning, the compound felt different. Sometimes, the people who care the most are the ones we understand the least. What would you have thought about Mr. Johnson before discovering the truth?